everybody also needs to turn down the speaker on their phones
Yeah.
so we don't get feedback.
Okay, we're live now on the other platforms. Okay, all right. Welcome, welcome. Okay, Zane. Let me see where it says that I can make you a guest. Just a moment, we're getting our other platforms together. And we're almost ready. In the meantime, we want to thank you for being with us tonight on Pie Talks. I am Arike, and tonight we have some beautiful butterflies with us in the room, and it's really exciting. Oh,
Yeah, I'm going to seal it. Do you have any alcohol or acetone or anything?
no, I just did that wrong.
Turpentine, whatever, anything that can get the adhesive off of?
Can y'all hear that conversation back
Alcohol or
there?
acetone or anything?
Okay, I'm gonna need y'all. Excuse
Yes.
me. I'm live. CJ, I'm live. I'm live. I need y'all to be quiet, please. Thank you. I apologize, y'all. Um, my nephew's here trying to put the house together. Excuse me. Let me just try to get Zane over here. Okay. She'll pop up, I guess. Okay. Except this Raj.
Probably got glue on the hand. You didn't need to buy it. Huh? Said you probably got glue on the hand.
Okay.
You didn't need to buy it.
All right. So why don't we, before we get ready to get started, try to center ourselves and prepare ourselves for this conversation tonight. I'm actually going to go ahead and default it off to Rajani. I'm going to mute myself. And Rajani, can you center us, please?
Can we get on camera on TikTok? Hello, hello, everybody. Hey, sisters. So, as we get started, let's just take a deep breath in. And that was just to kind of get us centered, get us here. And on the next one, we're going to breathe in for 6, excuse me, for 4, hold for 4, and then exhale for 4. So begin, hold, and exhale. And one more time. Hold and exhale. Just so we can get centered in our time being here. We've all had a day thus far. And so we want to be able to shake it off, be here with one another, and be open to this conversation. And so take one more for good measure. And I will hand it back to Miss Enrique.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I appreciate the ability for being able to pass things over. And so, welcome everybody. Um, we are welcome. I'm so again thrilled to have everybody here tonight holding space. I do want to alert us that tonight we are talking about some heavy topics. So please make sure that you feel safe, centered. If you need to walk away, please walk away. If you need to recenter yourself, please recenter yourself. And by all means, if there's you need to reach out, please feel free to hit any one of us in our DM, whoever you feel drawn to DM us, private DM us, and just be with us tonight. So, first and foremost, thank you for allowing us to open this container tonight. We are speaking about domestic violence, intimate partner violence. As you know, that we have lost many within the last week or so to this tragedy of senseless, really senseless um, hey Ashley, senseless murder sometimes. I'm going to apologize. I'm going to move the show around a little bit because I realize I do not have your bios up for whatever reason. And so I apologize for that. But I do want to introduce the panel tonight real quickly. And I'm going to actually let them tell you who they are. And I will go find their bios. But in the meantime, we'll start with Sequoia Hakeem Bey. Hi, Sequoia. You know, mute yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself.
I don't think I'm unmuted on TikTok.
I can hear you.
You can hear me? Okay. My name's Sequoia Hakeem Bey. I'm a registered nurse located in Georgia. Currently, I am doing my ministry of work in hospice, ushering people out. I like to say we know how to be born as just as well as we know how to die. So that's where I'm doing my base work right now. I am a sound healer, herbologist, and I'm here to support, and hopefully this conversation goes very well and everyone receives what they need.
Ashe, thank you so much for being here with us. We have another very special guest by the name of Nigeria. And so, Nigeria, can you unmute yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are?
Absolutely. Greetings, everyone. It is a blessing to be here tonight. My name is Nigeria, and I am a self-care coach for women leaders. I'm also a holistic womb healer and a breathwork facilitator. So I support women with feeling deeply rested, well supported, and feeling at ease in their body while still managing their responsibilities. And I am also a survivor of emotional abuse, and that is one of the reasons why I am passionate about being able to support women with creating safety within themselves. So yes, that is why I am excited to be here with you ladies tonight, and I look forward to getting to know more about each one of you.
Thank you so much for sharing. And then we have Zanita, who is a long-standing butterfly. Zanita, can you tell us a little bit about who you are? and what you do. Zanita, can you tell us a little bit about who you are?
Yes. Yes. Hold on, my mic. Can you all hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, excuse
Yes, we
me.
can hear you. Sorry,
Little
I'm
technical
dehydrated.
difficulties. My name is Zanita Sparkman, but I go by Zan. I have many titles, but what I do goes beyond. No matter what I do in the many titles, at the end of the day, my goal is, did I extend the love that I was supposed to? Did I give the compassion to the person I needed to give it to? So that's who I am. I am an activist of love. I could say I'm this, I'm that, but that's who I am. And what I do to heal is just basically see if I really did extend the love, because I know in my mind, love heals all. It heals every illness, sickness, disease, and simply just the I'm sorry, excuse me. It's a lot going on over here. But simply, if I just extend the love that I have in everything I do, then I feel like that is healing in itself. So yeah, that's who I am, an activist of love. And that's it.
Thank you so much. And so these are our
Honey, I
guest
can hear
panelists.
you.
So these are our guest panelists for this evening. And so thank you all so much for taking your time out to come and be with us tonight. And I would be remiss if I did not let our weekly butterflies step in and say hello. And even though you see them every Monday, we're going to let them say hello. So starting with Rashini.
Hello. Everybody, I'm Rashini. Y'all know me, but I am the Metro Atlanta facilitator of PI, and I also do other things, but that is what I love to do here. So, yes.
Thank you. Asia.
Hey. Oh, not muted. Oh, muted. I was like that. Hi. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, cool. Hey, I'm Asia Josefina. I'm a mother and I'm a writer and I'm an intern facilitator here at PI. I use my voice as an intern for PI to support and uplift women navigating healing, self-discovery, and life after a difficult experience, which I've been through a lot in the past year. So that's what I do here, and I do love this work.
And we love having you here. So Josephina is our baby girl. She's what, 21? Just turned 21?
You gave me a lower age. I am 24.
24. Why did I get? Well, Ashley will tell you. I kept Ashley like 20 something for like 40 something years. So,
I'll take
I'm just now getting
it.
used to saying
I will take
she's
it.
40. So, oh yeah, you've been here for a second now. And then of course, Ashley.
Hi, I am Ashley Thomas. I am the PI facilitator for Texas. I have been with Miss Enrique since I was 17 years old. So we've gone through a lot together. I'm really excited for today. As a survivor of DV, I know how important these talks are. And just getting the information out there to us to know that you are not alone. And so I'm just really excited about this.
Yes. Thank you all so much for, again, just being here tonight and sharing, and also taking the time to really share your heart with your sisters who are listening that are out there. And so I wanted to start the panel off with asking a couple of questions. And so, one thing about Pi is we try not to focus on the negative and the trauma, not to say that it's not important, excuse me, but what we hope to get to is those solutions. And so, I asked each woman that's here tonight a couple of questions, and we're going to discuss these right now out and open. So, the first question I want to ask is, what preparation, if any, did you make before leaving a toxic relationship? And there's no right or wrong answer. And I'll even start. I remember when I was leaving my son's father, my husband, he counted money. He was one of those. And so I literally had to sneak nickels, dimes, quarters until I had enough to get a bus ticket. So things of that, putting clothes away, one item at a time, and saying that it was lost so that I could pack a bag. Zanita, I think you were getting ready to say something.
I'll go.
Ashley? Okay.
Yeah. So for me,
Can you?
I think it's the delay for Zane. Go ahead, Zane. You're on mute. Zane, you're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Not trying to unmute, so please bear with me. Okay. Well, the preparation I took before leaving the toxic relationship was I had to mentally prepare myself to be.
She muted again. Can I unmute her?
To save somebody or trying to be the hero. So what I had to do was mentally prepare myself for my healing journey instead of worried about everybody else, in the relationship. I had to worry about my well-being. And then what that means is being single. I felt like I really haven't experienced being single, or else I would have just keep on running from person to person to person, and yeah.
Thank you for sharing. And so she was a little choppy, but what I heard was getting her mind prepared to be able to make that decision, to put herself first, to make that decision, to say, you know what, I need to do what I need to do for me. And getting her mind prepared for that and what it would mean to be single. Okay. Ashley.
Okay. So for me, it was two things in a physically abusive relationship. So one was, prepping a way that to get away when he's not there. I had a situation happen before where, we got into it and he put hands on me and I left and went to the bus station and he was there before I even got there, like things like that. So it was, preparing myself for his next trip. We weren't going through any, making sure everything was all good between us, so that he would not have any suspicions or anything like that. And then the biggest thing for me was calling and telling my mother everything that was going on. It had been 3 years and she had suspicions and had questioned me about things, but I just kept, playing it. But I knew once I told her, there was no going back. Like there's always that one person that's like once you tell them, it's done, right? And that was my mother for me. And I didn't even tell her that I was ready to leave or anything. He was getting ready to go out of the country. I told him she was coming down, flew her out, everything. As soon as he got on that plane, I told her I'm ready to go, told her everything that had been happening, and we packed up that house and got on the road.
Yeah. Being able to have somebody that you can call on is very important. But there's some times where we don't. My mom passed away. There went my protection. And so having to learn and not having anybody else come to show me and having to learn to that ear, that spiritual, that inner voice that had been pulling at me since I was 8 years old, and learning how to communicate back without. And I was thinking, had we been intact and I'd been in the village, they would have seen the gifts and the talents, and I would have probably been shuffled off to the elders, for them to teach me about what my dreams meant and the things that I seen. And, but because we're so discombobulated and we're not in our true culture, some of us end up having to just, keep going until we find out. Does anybody else want to share before we go on to the next question?
I can go.
Okay.
So I've been in all my relationships I've been in have either been mentally or physically abusive. But in regards to the one relationship with my son's father, before I left, my preparation wasn't something that I sat down and planned like all at once. It was more like of a slow awakening, just because like he left and went into the military, and then everything just changed. I was like, okay. I was like noticing patterns that I couldn't ignore, and then I had to be honest with myself about how the relationship was affecting me emotionally and mentally. And as a mother, that awareness, struck a nerve. And I began thinking about like the environment I was creating for my child, because I know how it was like with my parents growing up. And I don't want my son to see that as normal. So, I started changing my mindset, and I began leaning on the people who truly supported me, whether it was blood or not blood. Blood ain't thicker than water in most cases, but even the even in the small ways, I was preparing by becoming like more independent in my thinking and my decisions. Um, and I may have not had every detail figured out when I left, but internally I was getting stronger and more certain that I deserved better, and so did my son. So
Mhm. Thank you so much for sharing that. And that turning point, that turning point that says that place that goes from I can't get up, I don't want to get up, it hurts so bad, I can't breathe, it hurts so bad, to all of a sudden waking up that next morning and saying, I got to get myself together, right? It's that little thing right there, that little inner, that it doesn't come from anywhere else, but it comes from that internal side of you that says, get up, get up. And that's where I tell us to pull from. That right there, that has gotten us through before we could even utter or ask somebody else. All of a sudden the friends come, they think they're gonna find you still crying, laid over, and you up cooking breakfast. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Sequoia, I see your
I, I think
oh, I'm not
for
hearing
me,
her.
leaving allowed me the opportunity to realize and explaining, and me being in those spaces, I feel like I would not have allowed myself to be in those spaces. I wouldn't have allowed someone to hurt me. So my preparation of leaving, I put my children in a safe place, and I went to make some money. And then I got in the car and I drove from Georgia to California with my 3 kids in a car with no plan of what was going to happen when I got there. But I went off of strictly faith. I knew I had to get out the situation because the situation I was in was because I left one abusive situation where I was physically abused and ran to someone thinking they were going to save me, and they became emotionally and psychologically abusive. So I think the lesson I learned from that is that I had this toxic relationship with myself that I had to heal. And another person, I can't change or control anyone else. I can't predict how someone's going to be, but I can use wisdom and discernment when I'm making choices and choosing a partner.
Yes. Yes, the lessons that we learn when we grow. Thank you so much for sharing. Anybody else before we go to the next question?
I can share.
Hang on
So,
okay.
you guys can hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. So for myself, my toxic situation was more mental and emotional than it was physical, but I didn't even recognize it as such at the time. I just knew that, we weren't getting along. We were arguing all the time, and I just was sick of it. And it was one of those, when I look back on it, I realized the dysfunction and the toxicity in it. So for me, when I finally had my I gotta get out of here moment, I had told one of my sister friend at the time and ended up going to stay with her. because my boyfriend and I were living together. And so it was, I don't want to say as easy as, because we lived together, we shared the lease, and the intention, we lived together after we broke up. So, that's never, I don't say never, but in my situation, that wasn't a good idea. But it was more of a, financial and convenience thing. But once I made that decision, I called my friend and stayed with her until I got a place of my own. And so, yeah, that was my story, my experience.
Thank you for being transparent in sharing that. And sometimes we do that, right? We rush into things and put ourselves in financial situations. And so, thank you for sharing that and being transparent, so that other women that out here that are hearing this, that maybe you're even still in this situation and not realizing that, hey, this sounds like stuff that I'm going through. And to realize that these things that we're talking about are actually toxic behaviors and not good behaviors. And so, does anybody else want to say anything before I go on to the next question? Okay. So, after leaving, what was the hardest hurdle that you felt as though you had to overcome, if you can remember?
Since I ended last time, I can start this time. For me, the hardest hurdle was actually overcoming the external influence of, experiencing new D, forgive my vulgarness, but that kind of led to what I consider to be, a promiscuous phase in my life, because I had went from being with one person in 6 years to being with 3 new people in under 6 months. And so for me, that was a lot, just because of how I moved. But the friend who I went to stay with, she, um, I started to say, but she wasn't the best of influence. A lot of the things that I experimented with were with her. And, she basically was influencing me that, oh,
Not,
girl,
not,
excuse me. Well, I'm
not, sh-
speaking, excuse me.
not she. She's not here to defend herself.
Okay. Um, but I experienced a lot of things because of our relationship. Um, and she did say to me, basically, like, she didn't use these words, these weren't the words that were used. However, the message was basically to get over one man was to get under another. And because I was under the impression or the belief that I was missing something, and the influence of the time, if you will, that that was a mentality that I had to, get, excuse me, I listened, I was allowed myself to be influenced, but even though it went against my nature and, my morals. And um, so yeah, so that was my biggest hurdle. It was really just standing in who I was and allowing, and not feeling like I had to perform or do other things or become this other person in order to live according to, culture or what's popular or things of that nature. So,
Well, thank you for sharing. One of the things that, when you say to me, I stopped her, because one of the things that we that I train in PI, let me just say it as it is that when we're talking and we're sharing our stories, that we hold accountability. So it's not about somebody else or what other people did, because when we do that, we're still projecting outwards. And until we look at ourselves and can clearly see that we make the choices in our life, it is still kind of thrusting our responsibility onto somebody else, and also in preparing and repairing the sisterhood at Pi, right? We talk about making sure that we don't put each other on buses. Stand and speak for yourself and let your sisters join in, but a sister can't join in if she's not here. And so it's not about the external, but it's always bringing back internal. Why did I feel as though I had to do that? What was going on inside of I that made me feel that or allow somebody else to manipulate? And so, and as you heard her, she was going back and replaying what was going on and just sharing with us what was going on, but always comes back to accountability. And if you listen, you'll hear her take accountability as well in the end. Everybody heard accountability? Okay. So, does anybody else want to share? Okay.
I'll
Let's
go.
ask the next. Okay.
Oh, one of the sisters want to go first? Okay. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. The hardest hurdle. This is the question we're on, right? The hardest hurdle I had to overcome was being a single mom with 2 kids under 3 and moving out to a different city away from everybody, and just doing that and healing and finding my purpose all over again and discovering the love inside of me. Like, that was hard because, like I said, I had to wear many hats. So I had to overextend my role as a mother because I had to do everything by myself, and I commuted to work. So it was difficult just the transition from going to having help or going to having that 2-parent household to just being completely by yourself, having to figure it out. But I got through it. So that was the hardest hurdle for me, was just trying to figure it out after the fact, you know?
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Sequoia or Ashley, I think you both had your mics unmuted.
Yeah, I can go. So the hardest hurdle for me was figuring out how to get money. That man had all the money. I did whatever I wanted whenever I wanted. We did whatever we wanted whenever we wanted. So, just going on my own, although I had my own money, it was not, the same, because I'm still spending, like I got his money too. And it was just, kind of all over the place. And, shout out to Enrique for helping me out with that and helping me get my finances together and figure out how to do that. But that was the biggest thing for me, was like, and I know a lot of women go through this and stay in those situations longer, right? Because the man usually has the financial part together. So you're like, what am I going to do when, I'm on my own? And especially, like, I had left him so many times before I went back, and it was mostly because, like, wait, I ain't got no money, so that was a big hurdle, learning how to take care of myself.
Yeah. I can relate to both of those topics. Having those multiple children and trying to figure out, how to do. Because even though, for me, when the father was there, they were doing too much, but even a little bit that they were doing, those little times, you could tell the difference. We have to go to the store, not having to pack up 3 kids to go to the store, things of that nature, and now every time I want to leave, I got to pack up 3 kids to leave. So, things like that. yeah, I get it. And then definitely a lot of women have given up their careers, or have not established a career because they are used to somebody else taking care of them. And then all of a sudden they're like, well, what can I do? Right. So they stay a little bit longer as well. But we know now that staying is not an option because now we're losing our lives at an alarming rate. So we have to find something else to do besides staying because staying is not an option. Tonight we're talking about some of the things. All of us are survivor leaders that are here tonight, and talking about some of the things that we did that helped us prepare us for our freedom, for our escape. And we thought that sharing these things and this topic would be better for you rather than talking about the actual fights and the things that led to the fights, because that's not going to help anybody. So as we're speaking, hopefully that it is penetrating while you see us now, or you might see us later, that know that you too can come on over to the other side. And so the next question I want to ask is, what were your immediate next steps once you knew, and it doesn't have to be like immediate, but what were your next steps once you knew that you weren't going back? So we heard Ashley say, and I know for me, how many times did I leave and say I wasn't coming back and I come back? How many times I said I wasn't taking you back and I took you back, right? Until it finally got to that day where it was like, no, I'm not going back. And remembering, what did that feel like?
I'll go.
Take a minute.
I know once I realized that this is it, I'm done. Like, I can't take it no more, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally drained. I started to reclaim my identity back. Like, I immediately went on the healing journey. I immediately went inward and tried to discover my toxic traits so I won't bring those along with me. Try to discover like the things that trigger me so I know how to deal with it next time I encounter it. And I was preparing myself to be a wife because the next man I was going to be with was going to be my husband. And I really said, I am done playing around. Like, I'm done. I am too precious. I am too valuable to be just in any relationship and letting anything happen to me. So my immediate next step was my healing journey.
Yes. Anybody else? Can anybody relate to that?
I'd like to share. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we
Yeah.
can.
Okay. Yeah, so I can definitely relate to, going on the healing journey. My story is similar, but a little bit different because for me, my experiences happened mostly within my family. And so, there was those relationships are unique because it's not as easy to just break away from relatives because they are your relatives for life. And so for me, one of the things that was important for me was really, setting boundaries and getting really clear about, what those boundaries were. And at the time, I didn't call them boundaries, but, as I got older, I discovered that it was a boundary and I had to get clear for myself and ask myself, like, where do I draw the line? What do I say no to? What's too much for me? Because with my experience was mostly with emotional abuse, and it isn't always easy to know how to kind of draw that line and how to pull away. So for me, I had to get really clear about what that looked like. And I started learning how to protect myself in terms of like what do I share? I had to determine for myself, like, what is sacred to me in my life, and get clear about deciding that, you know what, the things that are sacred to me, which is mostly, you know, my mental, emotional health and my physical space, those things are sacred to me. So how am I going to protect them? You know, what information do I want to share? What information do I not want to share? And get really clear about what that is. And, you know, just love myself enough to stay true to that, no matter how many times I get those voices that say, hey, you know, that I should feel guilty for this. So for me, I think it was about getting clear about what my boundaries look like, knowing how to protect myself in terms of what do I share, what do I not share, what do I keep to myself. And that definitely made a huge difference for me.
Yes. Thank you so much for sharing. Does anybody else want to share? If not, I have one more question for us. And that is, how has your life changed since you left?
I can go and attest to, I took the time to take care of myself. I stopped drinking completely. And it's been over 4 years now. A lot of feedback. And then I also enrolled in EMDR. It's a type of therapy that actually helps you reprocess your traumas so that they don't sit in your forefront and they're not triggering, so that you're able to live your life more freely. Since then, I went back to school and got my registered nurse license. I've started a business. I got married to an amazing, supportive man who supported my dreams and continues to. I am back in the state with my children, became a homeowner. I feel like all my dreams came true when I put myself first. I put my everything first. I started to love me, and I realized all that I needed was already inside of me.
Yes.
So I'm very grateful.
Yes. Anybody else want to share? Jesse, your mic is unmuted.
I can go. For me, to this day, that relationship is still the longest relationship that I have been in. So I was 15 and we broke up when I was 21. So there was a lot of growth that happened within me, even just in the time of us being together, just that adolescent young adult phase. So I was in school, finished school, but I feel like the biggest thing that happened for me was just learning how to speak up for myself, or beginning to learn how to speak up for myself, because it's an ongoing process, if you know me. But that was really like the beginning of it, because from that relationship, I learned like what I would and wouldn't put up with. I let it be known up front, certain boundaries and certain things that's not okay. And I'm just not as timid and docile as I once was, because I believe that is what contributed to our relationship turning, if you will, because when we got together, I was a very insecure little girl, who was excited to have someone like me, and, happy to have a boyfriend, because I was always like to myself. And so he was like the first relationship he was like the first serious relationship that I had. And I just kind of stayed with them, even though deep in my heart, I knew we weren't going to be together forever. And so as I began to grow and develop and really just speak up, that's when things began to turn in our relationship, because I wasn't just accepting anything, or I wasn't just allowing him to talk to me any kind of way, or I didn't, I had my opinions, or I expressed my grievances and things of that nature. And so for me, that was, I would say, the biggest thing that shifted or began the shift in my life was just claiming my voice and not letting anybody, but especially a man at the time, but really it has evolved to anybody, speaking to me in a way that I just feel is unnecessary. Well, I'm not going to say unnecessary, but disrespectful. So yeah.
Anybody else want to talk about how your life has changed since you left? See, these allergies is
I'd like to share.
just got back to the East Coast. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so for me, a lot of positive things have happened for me since I have been able to really, break away from toxic relationships. For one, I have a lot more energy because, sometimes when you're in close relationships, you give so much, it takes so much energy out of you in so many different ways. So definitely having a lot more energy. And I am, I'll have a lot more wisdom about understanding how to, choose friendships, dating, all of that, because, after having those experiences, you start to recognize signs that are familiar, so the wisdom that comes from that. And I feel a lot more free now because, sometimes there's a lot of guilt, or at least I'll make it about me. It's, for me, I used to feel very guilty when I didn't fully understand what it meant to break away from that. There's a part of me that felt like I owed that person something, and being able to like let go of that guilt, let go of that shame, and get free and be able to use my energy and my time to create, the life of my dreams is definitely one of the things that has helped me. And I think the other thing is also I've just gotten really strong with being unapologetic about allowing anyone to come into my life who does not treat me as good as I treat me. And there's just, for me, that's just everything. So I think, that's the biggest thing for me. And it feels good. It feels good to be in that place.
Yes, Queen. That's right.
Yes. Anybody else want to share?
I'll go next. My life has changed drastically. Like, I would not recognize myself back then in my early 20s. I wouldn't think I would become the woman I am now because I did lack the confidence I needed. And I can say now I'm more bold, I'm more confident, I'm more outgoing, outspoken, and I'm able to just genuinely give the love, to everybody. I said who deserving. Everybody is deserving of love because we all go through things in life. So just being able to really feel and relate and being able to extend myself in a loving way instead of responding from trauma or outlashing or bursting out, I am just at peace. I can truly say that now. From back when I was in a toxic relationship, my peace is everything now. So that is what changed in my life.
Amen. Oh, I never hit go live on Instagram. I think we're live now on Instagram. I don't know. I think we're live on Instagram. I'm not sure. That's just really not doing it. I've never really figured it out. How to use the Instagram portion of this, but anyway. So okay. So let's get to our flashcards. We're going to go through a couple of questions real fast. And so now let's use your flashcards. And I'm like, hitting me. Just 1 second. Like, I don't have anything set up. No, I don't know what happened. Oh, search. Okay.
Miss Rika, we can't hear you. I've greatly enjoyed this conversation with you ladies.
I have as well. It's good to see familiar faces as well.
Yes.
Sure.
I believe this is a very good topic, especially for now, because we need to know our worth, you know?
Absolutely.
So, yeah, it's a beautiful thing, us getting together and sharing and being able to be transparent and just tell our story so we can probably help whoever's watching who's going through, you know, similar situations. So, yeah, kudos to us.
Yes, because the grass is greener on the other side. When they say that, it literally is.
You know what else they said that's true, Sequoia? When they said there's no price tag on a peace of mind, because when Danita says she had peace, like more peace, ain't no price tag on that. Like,
Girl, you,
Oh,
I learned that.
man, peace is everything. And when you don't have peace, you don't know how good it is until you get it, you know?
right.
This is what I've been missing my whole life.
Yeah, I remember my nervous system was like, what is this? Where's the chaos?
It's crazy when you got to get used to peace, huh?
Right.
Expecting stuff around the corner. You go around the corner, no, everything good around there. Okay, we good. Let's keep going.
I think the real thing that a lot of people don't always, or, you know, don't know. I mean, like you said, you don't know what it is until you have it, and so learning to.
I'm sitting here talking to y'all. I'm like, nobody can hear me.
We
I'm like,
can't
oh, I
hear you.
didn't add myself back on the stage. I didn't add myself back on the stage. That's why.
Can y'all hear?
I'm like, they're just talking. I'm not here. So I guess I was the only person that dropped off, huh?
We held it down.
Okay.
Though.
All right. Yeah, I know y'all did. Okay, so let's ask a couple of questions. Everybody got their cards.
We can
You
hear
can hear
her.
me?
It's Anita. It's on your end.
Oh,
Okay.
man. Okay, hold on.
Let's get these questions real quick. I'm scared to try to minimize my screen because it threw me out last time. Okay. Which type of a person shows real emotional maturity in a relationship? A person who hurts you repeatedly but always says, I'm sorry. Or a person who hurts you unknowingly, apologizes, and then corrects their behavior.
Can you ask that again, please? I'm sorry.
Which type of person shows real emotional maturity in a relationship? A person who hurts you repeatedly but always says sorry, or a person who hurts you unknowingly apologizes and then corrects their behavior? Sequoia, what do you have?
A person who hurts you
Everybody can come off
unknowingly.
of mute. Mhm.
A person who knows you, who hurts you unknowingly and apologizes and corrects their behavior.
Who else answered the same way? Raise your hand. Did anybody have the opposite? No. Okay. Okay. All right. So everybody agreed on that one. Okay. The next question I have, if you had to define what love should feel like over time, which example reflects the best? A person who hurts you repeatedly. Oh, we already said that one. What's a different question? Same answer. A person who hurts you repeatedly but always says sorry, or a person who hurts you unknowingly and apologizes and corrects their behavior. So if you had to define what love should look like over time, what example reflects best? Rajani, what do you say?
A person who hurts you unknowingly apologizes and corrects their behavior.
Who else agrees with her? Can I see a show of hands? Okay. Thank you. They're all saying yes, by the way.
Is my answers backward? Like, is my picture backward, or do I need to flip it? I know you can't
can't
read
see.
this.
It doesn't even matter. I can't see nothing. Okay. Let's talk about honor and provision. If your daughter was preparing for marriage, which situation would you guide her toward? The man who pays all her bills and got all that money but has no honor, or a man that you might have to assist financially for a little bit but has honor? Which one are you pushing your daughter towards? Asia, can you read what you said?
I said a man you assist financially who is honorable.
Who else agreed with her? Did anybody say she should go with the man with the money? No. Okay. What would you want shaping how your daughter sees herself as a woman? Would you choose today's female artist, or a woman from somebody that you know in your tribe that's honorable? Zanita?
I picked a woman who knows her value.
Did anybody choose the artist of today so she can make her money? Did everybody choose a woman that you know of honor that you would rather your daughter be like? Can I get a show of hands? Okay. How often do you intentionally connect with your spirit or your inner guide? Once a day, once a week, or I'm always in conversation throughout the day with my spirit? No answer is wrong, no judgment. Niger, what did you answer?
My answer is I'm always in conversation throughout the day with my spirit.
Did anybody else have that answer? Everybody. Okay. Beautiful. When it comes to living in alignment with your values, where do you stand today? Yes, I stand in alignment with my values. No, I just say that, I'm something, but I don't act like it at all. Or I'm always working on being in alignment. What's your answer? Who didn't? Ashley, which one did you say?
I'm always working on it.
Did anybody else answer that question the same way? Everybody said I'm always working on it. Okay. And so, based on everything that we discussed today, I wanted to see and show everybody the similarities in what it means to be a woman who has moral character and stand it. And the last thing we're going to do before we leave is I'm going to ask our guests to talk to you about the services that they offer, and how you can contact them. And then after, I want them to reveal to you who their true love source is. So we'll stop the way that it's on the flyer. We'll go Sequoia, Nigeria. No, and then Zenita, or is it Sequoia, Zenita, and Nigeria? I don't know. How's the flyer go, Rajani?
It's Sequoia, Zanita, Nigeria.
Okay, so first let's introduce again Sequoia Hakeem Bey.
Hello, Sequoia Hakeem Bey. I am on Instagram as Nurse Bay 7, I believe. I think it's Nurse Bay 7 or Nurse Bay Wellness. I have 2 pages on there. And on Facebook, I'm the only Sequoia Hakeem Bey with my face. There's a fake profile out there as well, but it's a European woman, so you'll know it's not me. I provide grief services, helping people through their grief. And I also do sound baths, and I do oracle readings. And you said, say my spiritual source.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm part of the Moorish Science Temple of America. I am Moorish American, and my spiritual source is Allah, but Allah has many names. We are taught that there's one source, and the source, we all look at the source in a different way. And that's why I'm able to connect with everyone, because it's a mutual ground no matter what.
Thank you so much for sharing. Zenita?
Hello again. I am Zenita Sparkman. And first, I'm going to say I'm an activist of love again. That's what I do. That's who I am. But I also wear many hats. I am the First Lady of Pace of Grace Ministry Church. We're an online church, but we also do outreach, church in the community, and many other things. I host A Woman Healed. It's we go around and bring awareness to the healing journey of women all over and what they've been through and how we go through it together. I also host the Butterfly Effect on Zoom every Wednesday. And we just talk about like the things that we endure during our healing season. And we're going through my book, actually, it's calling Healing the Woman Within in the workbook. So that's what we're working on right now. My platform on Facebook is Zenita Sparkman. On Instagram is Zans_love. And then on TikTok is Zan Love Me Too. And yeah, so that's who I am and what I do. And I also have it's a lot of things. I do a lot. I do hair, and I have we just launched our Sparkman events and design. So I do events. I create but I'm very creative. Anything you can think of, I can make it. So that's what I do shirts. And also we help push people. We help people with their business with Sparkman Associates is what my husband does. He goes and we kind of help people scale their businesses. So it's a lot of things, but in all that, we love. That's what we do. And my source is, I really don't like saying Christian, but I am in the Christian world. But I'm more spiritual because I do believe in Jesus. You know, I do believe in him because who am I to say he didn't come and do what he did, you know? So, and that's how I came to know Source. And it's God, but I call him Source, the Most High, because as Sequoia said, he's everybody knows him as Source in a different many names. Hallowed be thy name. So that's how I am able to connect in the spiritual love language is love. He is love. So I'm able to love anybody from any background during anything. I'm not just the typical Christian. I don't like that. I'm a spiritual. I am an activist of love. So yeah, that's who I am.
Thank you. And Nigeria?
Okay, so I am Nigeria. I also go by the Soft and Sovereign Woman. That's another way that people know me. So I, offer self-care coaching mostly to any woman that really feels called to work with me. But I do like to work with women leaders because quite often we are, holding responsibility in so many different ways, motherhood, businesses, managing all these different things. And so my work is really to support women with feeling deeply rested because we don't allow ourselves to rest the way we really deserve to rest, as well as, feeling more at ease in their body and just being well supported in general because we deserve that as women, as mothers, as matriarchs. We deserve to be well supported and properly supported. So my work is really to help women to give themselves permission to really be well supported and to allow themselves to experience what it's like to take care of yourself on every level and make sure that you're getting everything that you need on every level. And so one of the ways that I like to do that is through breath work. That's one of the primary modalities that I utilize. It's a very beautiful therapeutic way to feel safer in your body, to release trauma, to improve your mood, improve your hormonal balance.
Mhm.
And so that's one of the modalities, as well as the self-care coaching, where we just support you with developing the tools that you need to make wise choices as a woman in the world who is carrying so much responsibility. So that is what I do to support women. And my spiritual source is the Ifa Orisha tradition. It is a beautiful African tradition that allows me to really align with my destiny and to understand my connection to nature. And so when we talked about love, I absolutely resonate with all of you ladies and your experiences and stories about love because that absolutely is the way that I am able to connect with others as well when I go into different spaces, anywhere, anyone that I'm connecting with. As long as I remember that they have a heart, I know that I can connect with them and we can always have that human experience. So, yeah, you guys can connect with me on Facebook. My first name, Najia, last name, Big Love. And on Substack, I just got on Substack. It's really interesting. I love Substack. On Substack, I'm on, what is my name on Substack? The Soft and Sovereign Woman on Substack. So I'd love to connect with you guys if you feel called to receive some support with breathwork. I'm actually offering 3 to 5 sessions in the month of May to any woman that'd like to experience that one-on-one. So thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And one of the reasons why I waited till the very end to ask the young ladies to reveal to you who their source was, and the reason why I played the game first was because there's a lot of people out here that still don't understand that we can still get along. When you're tapped into true love, and this is what I teach, true love. When you're tapped into true love, and I tell people, if you pay attention to nature, and I take you into my backyard right now, There are about 5 or 6, 7, 8 different trees out there. When you look up, they all are different. Some are purple, some are pink, some, when you look down, some are blossoming, some have not even started to blossom, some are completely in. But the one thing that's the common is when you look down at the ground, they all coming from the same place. They're coming from the root. And so what I tell you is that when you have truly tapped in to the root of the essence of true love said, I will be whatever you need me to be. So whatever your name is, whatever you want to name, whatever you believe, true love said, I will become that for you. And so it's not about what we call ourselves, because we also know there's a lot of people out there with labels and with titles and have the performance, but their heart has never been changed. So they're still gossiping and hurting. And that's how you know true love brings no harm. And so if you're tapped into true love, your character is different. I'm safe with you. I don't have to worry about you coming after my husband. I have to worry about you coming after my children. I have to worry about you coming after me as a sister. I don't have to worry about you talking about me, talking down about me. You become safe. Why? Because you are in the same moral root. Because true love is not bipolar. You're either operating in true love or you're operating in pseudo love. There's no in between. There's the process is of getting out of the matrix and all the pseudo that's in the matrix. In that matrix is also pseudo religion is one of the biggest parts that keeps us divided. So like, excuse me, for instance, today I did something and somebody came in and just started shooting at me. I go to law school and grammatical and analogical and we're this person, we're that person. I'm like, whoa. Who even invited you? Like you came over here, like I came and knocked on your door and was trying to tell you, like, and he was like, and I go to law school, what you got? And and I was like, yo, brother Muhammad, slow down. Like, I didn't come to you. Like, you watched one of my videos and came over here and started asking me and drilling me and then start saying, like, I got to respond. No, I said, listen, I'm not even talking to you. Because what we don't understand, that's a colonial mindset of saying, if you don't think exactly like I think, then I have to lower you to another standard. And I have to put myself above you. And I have to do all this maneuvering. But you can't just see another spiritual person. I believe I asked every woman here. We have women from all different sects. We have our Moorish sister. We have our Ifa sister. We have our Christian sisters all in the room right now today. And when I ask questions, every single answer they agreed upon together, because it has to do with the moral fiber. We can call each other whatever we want, but the issue that's going on with our community and with us dying is because we have forgotten who we are. And so no matter what tribe that you subscribe to, it should change your life. It should change your character. It should open up doors for you to love more. And the other common thing that I heard through everybody was this love. It's this love that I'm attached to. It's this love that gives me strength. It's this love that allows me to look at my sisters and say, righteous, 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 righteous. And I can love you, although we might not, when it gets to the end of the day, I might pray a different way, or I might call a different name. If we're going to get out of the situation that we're in now, where we're hurting each other, because we're not up against one another, my brothers and my sisters. What you've seen tonight is a panel. We're intergenerational. We got our 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s up in here tonight. We're all survivors. Some of us have stories that would just make you fall out. We're real survivors. I know every story that's behind these faces right now. And this is why I brought them, so that you can see that when you take the time out and connect back, and whatever that is, that small stillness in you that helped you to get up when you felt you couldn't do no more, and you attach yourself to it, and you start discovering, and you start looking for it, and you start looking, you start searching, and you start now lighting yourself up. That is the other thing. Nobody said somebody came and rescued them. They said, when I started looking at myself, when I started applying, when I started making the phone call to say, hey, I need to go to this rehab center, or hey, I need to call this family member because I'm off, or hey, but it is, we reached out, something in us. And so if you're out there and you're hurting, you do not have to hurt by yourself. If you're out there and feel like nobody understands you in your walk spiritually, if you've connected, we have a whole bunch of people right here today. Who does your spirit resonate to? Reach out to them. Reach out to them. We are here for each other. We are beyond debate. It is now coming together strategically so that we can now go after our spoils. Because in our silos, we cannot do it. But when we come together, we become an infrastructure of national healing. And now we put ourselves out of program and out of everybody competing for the same money and the same people. And we put ourselves in a place of infrastructure. And we put ourselves in a place that when we look and say the government is having an issue with recidivism, the government's having an issue with young mothers. This is everywhere. Young single mothers living in poverty. This is every state. So when we say, you know what, instead of it's just pie. We got Nurse Bay over here. We got Nigel over here. We got Love Me over here with the dancing. So what if we sat and said, okay, let's put this together and say, this is how we're going to intertwine. And we're in Georgia, we're in Texas, we're in Florida, and we're in these two different cities. So now when we go to write our money, we're not just a organization that's partnered with somebody. We're an infrastructure and we're a network of healing. Why not make our own platforms? Why wait for somebody else? See, when you interconnect as a real thing, as a real unit, helping one another, doors open. Because here's another thing. When you're in spiritual alignment, there's nothing that we cannot ask for and that we would not get. Because we are all tapped in with true love, which means we all have the power to speak those things that we want to come to pass. Just think about that, being in that synergy and be able to work in that synergy, and then going back, keeping your autonomy and going back and still being with the people and your spiritual people and everything, keeping your own autonomy and doing what you do, but now saying, I'm connected. So guess what? So that when those children come in and that are in Sequoia's area who might not be Moorish, but she loves and embraces it. But then when they say, but you know what, I really want to seriously, she say, oh, there's Anita's right over there. Instead of trying to conform them and make them feel as though they need to be somewhere. Them young ladies that you run into Zanita that say, you know what, I'm connected, but I'm not really feeling this. To say, guess what, there's Sequoia's over there. Or guess what, Nigel's over here. To know our sisters who are not going to cause somebody else harm. Rather than saying, because you don't walk in my tribe, push. No, I have somebody else for you though. And I know she'll love you and I know she'll take care of you. And we can still all be in the same box of love. I'm not asking people to, and I'm done. I'm not asking people to take on and become this one world thing. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. Not at all. Okay. But what I'm saying is this is how we get out. And this is how we get our spoils. Because if us, the mothers, the spiritual mothers, the spiritual daughters, if we don't start coming together and stop arguing, we have another generation that we're just go ahead to the preschool to prison pipeline because we know what happens. But hey, we don't care because we don't have our own schools, we don't have our own land, we don't own anything. So the first thing of healing is getting back to who we are, into this place where everyone spoke tonight of a level of healing that literally changed your life. And that's what our community needs. That love. Not because we're trying to make a name for ourselves. Not because we're trying to be a guru. But because we are here on an assignment and we made it for a reason. So thank y'all for being with me tonight. I appreciate each and every one of you. Survivors. In the fact that you're just, not even survivor. I say nurse, director, writer, author, right? Because we don't wear what we ain't no more. And that's another thing about Pi. We don't keep wearing the title, right? We are who we are. I love y'all. Thank you so much. Does anybody have any last thing that they want to say? I speak freely from your heart. Take as much time as you want about this topic of, what sisters can do to prevent. Any last words? Please feel free to speak.
One thing I do want to say is with the sisters, have a group around you of wise women by yourself. Don't make decisions just on your own, impulsive decisions. Allow someone to speak life into you and actually listen. I know a lot of times when we're young, we think we know it all, but we don't. And there's somebody that can literally speak to your situation that can help you avoid. Hearing their situation might allow you to avoid going through what you go through. I know even getting married this time was so different for me because I had a wide range of sisterhood across the whole nation and women that were already married. And my husband had to go through trial and error before. We had to sit amongst the elders. We had to go talk to others. We had to go through premarital counseling. It wasn't just, oh, I like him, he liked me, we get married. We even had our birth charts done. They did our birth charts and everything. So use discernment and have those wise people around you to help you so that there's accountability on the table. Because once you get into a situation, it's really hard to get out. And nowadays, situations we're seeing is where women are being killed. Women are going through things they shouldn't have to go through. And the help is not really there like it should be, because getting a restraining order is not help. You can't throw a piece of paper at somebody to protect yourself. So I say keep you some brothers that love you and that are appropriate, because I've never experienced it before, but now I have brothers in my life that are my brothers. My husband can trust them to be around me. They bring me places and I feel safe. I'm in a safe place. So having your tribe, you have to have a tribe out here because the world is very unsafe.
Yes, thank you for sharing that. That is so important. And that's a part of our culture. That is really decolonizing, because if you think about it, we couldn't just say, hey, I'm marrying somebody. The family had to vet. Your family had to be vetted, but the families had to vet. There was a whole process that we did in our real culture. This is Western culture that, hey, I'm just going to go get married. And then you tell your family, and then they, like, it don't go down like that in our real culture. And that's another reason why we have so much divorce and so much silliness, is we're trying to live under somebody else's culture. And so when you take that off and you come back, it does bring the village back in that mentality, whether you're indigenous or whether you came over on the Atlantic Straits, either one. There was culture. You didn't put your parents in no nursing home. What? When did Black people start doing that? Right? That's not our normal culture. We don't put our parents in nursing homes. We take care of our elders. We honor our elders. We sit at the feet of our elders. In the American culture, our elders have no respect. Not with this generation. It's like, and so this is what I'm saying. We have to look at ourselves and stop fighting amongst ourselves as spiritual people about labels and titles and look at the root, because while we're fighting and all that energy is going on, the debate in our community is being overtaken by the music and by everything else that we don't own. We don't own the music industry. Why do you think it's hypersexual? The white man has always used the Black woman for his sexual toys. Things have not changed. Why do you think they have all these injections? And who told Black women they need to get a bigger butt? Think about it. Who owns the industry? They've always been mesmerized with our body parts. Okay? And so it is not to blame or listen. They don't know no better. You come in and I'm stripping and you decide to give me $1 million. I'm taking it too. So it's not like they know any better that they're getting themselves into now. Basically just, anyway, it's a whole nother show, right? Another show. But I think what Sequoia was saying is very important. And I think that the more that we look back, the more that we can appreciate the things that they had in place to keep us safe. Like she was saying, I can go anywhere and know that my brothers are with me. My husband knows that he don't have to worry. I don't have to worry. That's what we need to get back to. I am my brother's keeper. Them kids on the street are our kids. Them elders are our elders. And that's what we need to get back to. So thank you so much. Anybody else want to share anything?
Yeah, I just wanted to say I appreciate the panel, the sisters on the call, because, one thing that's big at PIE is just acknowledging that we are not the stereotypes of what is out there. And I find myself in several conversations, enough conversations, particularly around Black women, being generalized in this light. And it's always, I always play the advocate because one, I know that I'm not like that. And I know that I know enough other women that are also not like that. And so, but unfortunately, going back to what you were saying, as far as like what's put in front of us on a regular basis, a lot of people, men, women of all races think that what they see and what they hear is who we are. And so, I'm appreciative to be on, a panel of other women. Again, I know that you guys, we have communications and, you follow each other and things outside of this, but to be able to see each other all together and to be able to have a wholesome conversation that reflects conversations that I have outside, basically representing for us, and not what is out there. And so I'm just appreciative to, Miss Enrique for being the thread that brings us together, and to just know that there are other women that are coming that will also get to experience this and grow and heal and unlearn what they are trying to teach, not trying, but what they have taught us and continue to try to teach us.
Yeah. Thank you. The sistership is so powerful. And if you think about it, I really think that that's why they, like, I was looking at the little boxing match that's going on YouTube, Krishan Rock, and I just cry. I just look and I was like, I see two young ladies who need guidance, that have young kids that need guidance, and they're just being exploited. They're just being exploited. That's all that it is. I was like, why are they even putting our sisters in the ring to fight each other like we're men? It's like all this masculine, like all the music now is, the women are now so, I'll rip your face off and rah, 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 rah. And I'm just like, they are just doing such a number on our community. And that is so the opposite of what a woman is, and the beauty of who we are, and the beauty of sisterhood and understanding sistership is so beautiful and so powerful. And that, I think, I tell people, I figured it out. They're not worried about the intelligent Black man or Black woman. They're not concerned about the they're not concerned about the richest Black man or Black woman. The number one threat to this country is a spiritually awoken Black man and Black woman, one who is decolonized and has come back to their true self. Because then you cannot fool us anymore. That's when the scales come off and you start to see the real. And when we come together, it is their worst nightmare. So nothing they can do, because it's happening. I love y'all. Thank you so much for tonight. I really do appreciate it. I look forward to working with you all again. Those authors who are on, I look forward to So You Think You're Grown, being a part of our first book. It is nothing that we do over at Pi has gone to waste. Everything was done as a pilot, and now it's coming to fruition where we're writing our anthologies. Every cohort that we do, we'll be producing 5 books. And those that have not written their book with Pi yet, stay tuned. And I love y'all. Thank you so much for your time. And I look forward to, doing some more things, some healing work with you guys. Any last things before we log off?
And I love you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay.
You're welcome.
I just wanted to say love y'all and may peace be with y'all. True peace. Be with
Thank
all
you.
of you. And I'm just excited to see everybody's journey because I know wonderful things is happening. Wonderful things.
Yes. All right, y'all. From my heart to y'all's, good night.
Good night.
This thing don't never want to end.